How's it going, Charles Botensten? So this is what we're going to be talking about today. This is a very, very important topic. And the reason being is that yesterday I was at the Belmont Stakes, which is a horse race, and I was talking with one of my cousins, and what they were talking about was someone they knew, and she's only 8. And that when she goes to school, she like freaks out. She has like panic attacks. And they brought her to a doctor, of course, obviously, like just bring them to a doctor. By the way, a documentary that I highly recommend is called Vaxxed. It's an amazing documentary about how the government and Big Pharma are in bed together and whatever. Long story short is, I believe in doctors and everything else. So I actually do like this doctor because they brought him to more of it was more psychological rather than bodily, because sometimes they say, oh, take this pill. And you don't know what that pill does, and you don't know what that prescription does. But in this case, they said, listen, how often is she on her computer? How often is she on her iPad? Does she have a cell phone? She's 8 or 9. I think I don't know about the cell phone, but I know she has an iPad. I know that she plays on her mom's iPhone when her mom doesn't really care, you know. See, this is the thing. I'm not a parent, so I can't give parental advice. However, I know this is an easy out for parents. However, the problem is there is so much research that's coming out on the addiction of, and it's obvious, like why would you not be addicted to your cell phone, your iPad, like just stimulation in general? Why are you not addicted to that TV show or that food or anything? Everything is, the powers to be are chemically inducing things into the food or into the app. Listen, there's 3 things, and there's a book. It just came out. I don't know if it's on pre-order. I forgot the name of it, but they're interviewing the author, and he said that essentially there's 3 things that go into a really good addicting. Addicting is the key word, app. A really good app, yes, but a really good addicting app is going to have repeat business, and repeat business means obviously more revenue, whether that's through ads or subscriptions or whatever they're trying to sell. Obviously, there's free apps, but to make that app better, they need money, and obviously it's a business and whatever. I'm all for business, but this guy said, and there was actually a 60 Minutes about this as well, is that number 1, there has to be some kind of reward. So that reward in Instagram is likes on a photo. On Facebook, it's notifications and also likes and comments on your photo or video or friend requests or things like that. And that also goes into variety. So variety is you open the app and there's something new, there's something different. So when you go into the crisis news network, as Peter Diamandis talks about, which is CNN, there's always something new, there's always something bad, there's always drama. So essentially, and I'll get to the punchline, which is why this is addicting. So number 1, there has to be something new. There has to be something that there is a reward. And the third thing is there's a way to see where you are in society. There's a way to see where you are in the pecking order. So in other words, how many friends do you have? Did you get any new followers? Do you get a lot of engagement on your photos? So essentially, the reward is per post, per photo. The variety is you scrolling through the newsfeed and seeing something new every single time. And the third thing is, how many friends do you have? How many followers do you have? How many subscribers do you have? So you're really just rating yourself in the pecking order. And that's with anything. It's like back in the day before this, it was like how many subscribers do you have to your newspaper? How many people came to your seminar before there was YouTube? Or how many books did you sell? It's like you wanted to see where you are. How much money do you make? That's all in the pecking order. How many people come to your birthday? How many people are talking about you? It's all in the pecking order. Variety is in the news feed, which is news that's pretty straightforward. And then obviously there has to be some kind of reward. Reward in Vegas is lights and buzzers and dings and everything else. There's a new notification. That's why people are addicted to the phone. I don't even have my phone around here. The reason being is that you have to reverse engineer yourself. You have to, as Gary Vaynerchuk talks about, you have to be self-aware. I'm self-aware. I have an addictive personality. If I have all notifications on, as Cal Newport talks about, I will do no deep work. As Mihai, whatever his name is, talks about in flow, I cannot get into flow. And I'm going to have a podcast about attention. Attention is everything. That is everything. So this is the thing, going back to this girl, is that this girl doesn't know. She's 8 or 9, okay? Like I said before that, is that I'm not a parent, so I can't talk about what's best. How often do you want to give your kid an iPad? Because the iPad is so you can do whatever you want. The kid is quiet, they're not crying, they're not doing anything, they're just, engaged in that. But the problem is the apps are tailored to our ancestral, like our inner beings, our inner hormones, as Simon Sinek talks about, your EDSO. EDSO are the 4 feel-good hormones. The bad one is cortisol. Cortisol is stress. That's fight or flight. But the problem is today we have so much cortisol. The reason I put it in quotes is because we don't have any fight or flight situations, but we induce that. Fight or flight back in the day was there's a tribe, or I heard something in the bushes, or this person may kill me, or this person may is after my wife. And back in the day, if someone was after your wife and your wife went with them, or your girlfriend, or whatever it was, tens of thousands of years ago, you had no way to continue your seed. That was it. That's literally why we're here, is to procreate. That's it. There's real, I don't want to get into the philosophical what is everything here for, but essentially you have to be not only self-aware, but you have to be 2 other things. So EDSO is endorphins, dopamine, serotonin, and oxytocin. I don't want to go into, the 2 ones, dopamine and endorphins are totally different than serotonin and oxytocin. Serotonin and oxytocin are things that you strive for, that you want to keep on doing. The addicting ones, the ones where you hear the ding, the buzz, the notification, the vibrate is, oh, okay, that's dopamine, and it rushes through your blood, and you want more of that, so you get a fix. And that fix is literally the notification, which is the notification even on your phone, or when you open the app and then you see that little red button or those likes. They have it down to a science. Watch the 60 Minutes about this. They literally have it down to a science where they time out the likes, so they know that if you log back in, because they know how often you log in, when you log back in, there's a new like. Even though it happened 30 minutes ago when you were logged in at that time, they waited, they had a delay, so when you logged back in, there was a new notification. It was oh cool, someone else liked my photo, someone else just friended me, or someone else just followed me, or something like that. You have to reverse engineer yourself, okay? So going back to the origination of the story is that this doctor, I don't agree with a lot of them, and but that's another discussion. But this guy was so aware of the addiction. I don't know. I don't know who this guy is. I wasn't at the doctor's appointment, but he asked, does she have her own phone? How often is she on the iPad? That's the thing, is that when kids do not have that stimulation, when you don't have that stimulation, you freak out. Okay, which goes back to attention. Okay, so this is the biggest thing is, number one is when you can't sit by yourself, and I'm going to be talking about that in the podcast, highly recommend listening to that, and that's going to be recorded after this, but if you can't sit by yourself, which is meditation, without needing that stimulation, that external stimulation, very important, external stimulation, which is a TV show, which is food, which is your phone, your iPad, Netflix, something like that. If you can't do that, you're going nowhere in life, because you need that stimulation. And if you need that stimulation, you're going to seek that stimulation. If you seek the stimulation, you can't do deep work. Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, Richard Branson, none of these people. Look at Steve Jobs. Steve Jobs didn't even allow his kid. He knew how addicting this. He didn't even allow his kid to really be on I don't know if it's an urban myth or whatever, but he didn't really have his kids on there because he knew how addicting he was making the device. So I don't know if he was intentionally doing that. I have no idea, but he just knew how addicting it actually was. So this is the thing is, it's good when you use it properly. It's bad when it's using you properly, okay? And then I'm just gonna go to the second thing, and I've already talked about this, and I know I'm pushing the 10-minute mark, and everyone's, attention is going elsewhere, but this is the biggest thing is, this is the punchline, is that people are starting to put their self-worth on how many followers, subscribers, and you'll see in the comments, follow me and I'll blah, blah, blah. Dude, you're such a loser. You are a freaking numbhead. That you have to literally say, Gary was saying this, I never saw it, but Gary was talking about, back in the day when a crisis happened, people said, I'll donate $10 if you follow me. For every followers I get, I'll donate to this catastrophe. It's like, you need a punch in the face. You need to be put out to pasture. Is that you are doing something for the cause of something because you're so desperate for followers? You're so desperate for subscribers and likes and comments? You know, you'll see it on YouTube you know, guys, check out my video. That's cool. But add value to the comment section. Don't just say, check out my video, and then maybe be mad that people are like, why do we want to check out your video? Even worse is when they say, subscribe to my channel, or like this comment, you know, like this comment if you think Gary Vee is awesome. Like, dude, what are you doing? You're reaching. So and I don't want to go too deep into this, how do you actually get, the reason people get followers, likes, subscribers, why a video goes viral is because there's so little try hard. It's like anything. It's like selling. It's like getting a girl or a guy to like you. It's like if a girl came up to me, she's like, I really, really like you. Or you went up to a girl and you're like, I really, really like you. Or if I'm selling, I own a real estate company. If I went into someone I'm trying to work with and I just said, you need to buy my service, and you're desperate, just like these comments, if you're doing that, you're literally putting your self-worth on their reaction. Like, you're not self-aware enough, or you're not confident enough to whatever happens, happens. You know, as Gary talks about, your self-awareness, or not even your self-awareness, is you're selling to the unsellable. Okay? So put enough value out into the world, people will come to you. Mastery is a massive thing. And I'll be talking about that in the second video. And the third thing is, you have to be self-aware on are you addicted? And if you're addicted, step number one in Alcoholics Anonymous is you have to admit it. You have to admit it. So have an awesome day. Leave your comments below, which is funny I said that. And obviously subscribe to the video. And the reason I say the comments is because you guys drive the channel. You guys drive the channel. I just bought a light, so you know you can maybe see that there's a little illumination and everything else. So I'm upgrading this one by one. This was a $30 light. The batteries were another $10, $20. I'm not doing this for money. I'm actually about to go into something. I don't know if I have the piece of paper, but this was something that I was maybe going to be turning into a product. But I just said, you know what? Just give value, build up an audience. And I'm not even going to leverage any of the audience because I have a business. This is, as Gary talks about, a side hustle. So subscribe to the video, leave your comments below. Have an awesome day. Talk to you guys soon.